Hi friends, welcome back to my channels. Or today is a very big news for us, and now India is directly to uh, give the threats to the China and on the Sukam's valleys through the Indian spokespersons, and he said Sakshgam's valleys integral part of the India's is not your part, and Delhi is rejected from the 1963 agreements. What's happens and the China's Pak agreements is what is happening in between the China's and Pakistan's. We are not accepted this kinds of the any kinds of the agreement which is a part of the India, and so Delhi is rejected to the 1963 China's Pak agreement, right? This is not the part of the, this is from the Indian spokesperson is not going to be saying the one times. This is today in the same day, in a single days, they have given the two times the same statements to the China, and China's directly and indirectly, we cannot say indirectly and say on the through of the mouth. Hey China, listens and very carefully, I'm not going to accept any kinds of the agreement between the you and your Pakistans, and what the thing is going to be do, and you guys as developing your road, and that is called the China CPEX road, and this CPEX road is not the legal roads, and whatever's uh, development is doing over there, and this is the encroachments, and the in a suppose something is happen in a in the futures, and if you say no, this is the my past, and if you're just going to be happen in the future, son, in a war between the Pakistan and India's, we have to be acquire the entire occupied Kashmir things to the in a merge into the India, and that point of the time you will pay the heavy pain, and definitely you have to think about that in this way. Another things I'm going to the about the China's Pakistan's occupied Kashmir's areas, and about the in the Sakshgam valley, and just think about that here. This is a complete pictures about that, and this part is this side is the Pakistan's, and is saying is the Islamabad and the Muzaffarabad and Sapti Pakistan is there, and this side is the Gilgit areas, and which is the occupied on the Kashmir, which is written here now. This is line of control where is actual. This is the line of the control, and this part is the occupied of the Kashmir. Now it's come in these sides, and in 1962, and that war between the China and Pakistan, and Nehru at that point of the time was the prime minister, and he's hand over to this complete part of this. Just think about it, from here to here, this part is goes to the China's part, because this is the China aksai China, I would say, and because and that point of the time Nehru was said, and these areas nothing is growing, we cannot do anything, this area is completely useless, and the citizens is that China is you occupy these areas, and no need to be worried about that part. Just think about that, what kind of the level of this prime ministers and Nehru's, and this is not the good prime minister, I would say, and the prime minister has to be there to the strong, whatever decision has to be taken, the strong decision in favor of the country is only, not the just casually saying, if you want to fight with me, okay, something is not happening, this part is not good for us, and go and take this. If nothing is there, and why China is going to be acquired this part? Because see, just think about that, and Nehru is saying is nothing is is the useless of land, but some useless of the land, then China, why China is going to be acquired this useless of land? Useless means everybody's has to be, this part is useless, completely useless, even for the China, for or maybe India's as well. So but this is the thing, and China has to acquire, right? And now they are against, because the very huge areas China has occupied there. And here, if you go into this side areas, this is the occupied Kashmir area, which is acquired by the Pakistans now, illegally, I would say. And here is the Siachen glaciers, where is our army has to armies is here, and they are all the time 24/7 they are controlling here. And now these areas from the go and above, little above, here is just Sakshgam valley, which is the part of the occupied Kashmir. So India is saying is this is the because Pakistan, they have acquired the complete these areas illegally, right? So illegally, that means this is not the legals. Pakistan, we don't have the legals to acquire of theirs. This is illegally they have acquired. So in terms of the short period of the time, so maybe not more than that, I would say, is coming times, and definitely is India is going to be fight with this Pakistan and all. They have to be acquired the land in futures. Definitely, there is no questions about that. And here is Sakshgam's valleys has to be here, and this is the part why. And China is going to be developed the CPEC road from this area to the aksai chains to the go to the Afghanistan's areas, and they completely they have acquired this side of the lake. So this is the things, and the citizens China want to say, and this is the my part. So you need to be worried what I'm saying. So yes, I am going to be for our country's spokesperson from the government side is uh, strongly raise the sounds against the China. No, this is the our part. Whatever the encouragement you're doing there and whatever activities you're going to do there, this is a totally illegal. And in future of times, and we are going to be take the actions, and you have to pay the pain. Definitely, you come into the pain. Another pictures I'm going to give you complete explanations over here, and just these pictures, and here is a aerial view picture. Another picture is there, and this is a very important pictures and very clear, crystal clear picture here. In this area, again, I'm showing the Pakistan's areas, and this means as a Balochistan, which is the part of the occupied Kashmir areas, and this part is the Afghanistan parts. And now these areas has to be because this is the part of the occupied Kashmir. So Pakistan has to be here now. So these areas also is coming up because this is the glacier, is the valley area, and valley area they have handed over to the China, and this China has to put 1963. So we are against of the 1963, and we are not allowing that. So if you come in this side, which is called the aksai chains, and this is the Galwan where we have 2 years before we have to fight with the aksai chains. Here they have deployed all the military from the China side, or here is from the military of our India side, and then they have to fight between the Indian and China, and they have China's side, the Indians, China's military was the to the 150s. China side's military was the in danger zones. So by the Indians, and Indians was dominated over here. So this part is complete now, and if you go in the little downs, come in here, which is the part of the Ladakh areas, and here is the Tibet areas, which is also China is saying this is the our part. In coming up, because here is now this there is activities going to be happen. China's randomly, and time to times they frequently they have doing some wrong activities which is not the acceptable at any cost. So now, if this is the circumstance has been changed, before that in Nehru times is something is different, because Nehru was the very casual person. They are not taking care of any kinds of the very strong decision, that they are not that kind of the capable person, and I would say they are not that kind of the strong leaders as compared to the Modi. So Modi is going to be taking the any kinds of taking the actions on the behalf of the very potential way, and they are showing is in a very diplomatic way, and they're giving the strong message to the China of whatever activities is going to be do in the by the China sides, and we are taking the actions, and very not in the casually, very seriously, and giving the answer very seriously, giving the threatening any kinds of the activities on the against the China's, and very loud sounds and very strong threatening. So China is thinking about that anything is going to be happen. That's the reasons they are saying 2 times and 1 times, and we are giving the again and again, so more than 2 times. So giving the threatening. So another part is I'm going to do. If you saw this, Sugam's valley is how looking like that. This valley is looking stupid as compared to definitely is has to be there. If you go in there and make it as part points for the as a picnic, and definitely has to be good there. But the thing is, 1966 is hand over to China is what I'm saying is, and this is a very important part of the China. What is and why this question has been raised by today, and because this question has been raised by today by the in government sides, because China has raised the questions. This is our side. That's because at that point of the times nobody is saying means government Congress sides Congress period of the time when Congress was in the in governments, they are not giving answers to the any kinds of answer strong message to the China. But the Indian governments, they are not stopping any kinds of the things. Any message if you pass from the against the nation. And definitely our government, which is government, is very strong government. They are not listening any kinds of that. They are not polite. They will give you answer very strongly. So thing is, question is coming from the Congress, which is ruling, which was the ruling in India, and the Congress is in a opposition now, because whatever activities has to be happens. If you check, is there in 2008, made Rahul Gandhi. What picture is says about the Nehru Gandhi and Sonia? Here is the GP also there, and GP times is some government person is there. They are the signed the agreements between the MOU agreement, and these agreements they are not Congress till date. They are not publicly announced or they are not giving any kind of information about this MOU. What MOU was there? What are the clauses were there? What are the sentence was there? What is the containment condition was there in this MOU? They are just keeping the in a hide these files. So now these days is the problem is because Congress having the two kinds of the fund I would say. One is national level, another is international level. That is the Congress overseas one fund was there, fund is there, and something is suppose any kinds of the funds coming from the across the world and maybe outside of the country that coming into the government in the Sonia Gandhi's in pocket, I would say, Sonia Gandhi's fund, I would say, or maybe Nehru Gandhi's fund, you would say, through the Congress overseas fund. So now what is the problems? Problem is whether in the China, whether in the deep state of America, which is using the opposition as a government opposition, Rahul Gandhi to their now fight between the Modi ji against the positions of Nehru's, that is Rahul Gandhi. So they want all the oppositions, all the deep state and the China's countries, which is always they are the communist, the communist rule is communist thinking power is we have to be acquired some land and this they are very critical and they are very crude, crude kind of the person, crude kinds of the politics has to be there. They want to all the times acquire the land someone's. So what is the rules? And same problem is happening here. So Congress and Rahul Gandhi they are doing is something all the times is wrong against the nation. Whatever his statements is there now, just coming days, Rahul Gandhi was in Germany, and they have a meeting with the some which is not in favor of the countries, and they're the against of the country who is there. So they're doing some other against the country activities. Whoever is there, maybe if you go in the Congress, Rahul Gandhi is visiting the Germany, Rahul Gandhi visiting the Russia, Rahul Gandhi visiting the deep state of US, Rahul Gandhi visiting the China, or wherever in London, wherever he is going, they are always meeting with those guys who's against of the our nation is in India. So whatever fund is coming from the this Congress overseas, now these days deep state means last 15 means 3 years means third, this is the Modi's third times is there in the government side, right? So within the 15 years, all the nations now, like Russia, like China, like a deep state of America, like London's, everybody knows, all the governments know, this opposition is totally useless. So we need to be, throw the money in these guys to collapse the BJP government in India so that we can do anything in the national. So it's very difficult. So now Congress is thinking about that if any kinds of the dedication directly with the BJP governments or something like that. So we are losing the fund, we are losing the money, whatever we are earning easily money from the any other nations, which is not the favor of country against the country. This is very, very important, right? So now this is the pain points of the Congress.